You don't want to see them all before the Super Bowl anyway.
That's true.
Now at 5, we have a cold air advisory in a forecast. And we'll talk about those cold temperatures.
And we are getting an update from DPW as they are out doing their inspections, checking out your residential streets, plus why one woman says she's given her kudos to the city. Coming up.
All right, Jenna, plus a teenager accused of killing his barber makes his first appearance in court.
What the victim's mother is now sharing about her son's life.
And we are once again under a weather impact alert tonight with a cold weather advisory going into effect overnight.
And so everybody wants to know, of course, just how cold is it gonna get? Thanks for joining us at 5 on this Friday night. I'm Dustin Grove in for Anne Marie.
And I'm Felicia Lawrence alongside with meteorologist Angela Buckman. They've been on top of this cold air for probably too long now.
A week and counting, and the last several mornings we've had temperatures at or below zero, expecting that again tomorrow morning. That's the reason for the cold weather advisory and the reason our weather impact alert continues. All of these counties, all of central Indiana, just about under that cold weather advisory for early tomorrow morning, as temperatures will dip to near zero, if not below zero. So continue to protect your home, your family, and your pets from the really cold air. We're monitoring some lake effect snow coming off Lake Michigan, a few flurries around the Fort Wayne area. These will continue to push south. So for us, some clouds around this evening, chance of a few flurries. We're not expecting any accumulations overnight. It's cold. Temperatures in the teens. We have 16 in Bainbridge, 14 in Connorsville. We are at 20 in Greensburg and 18 degrees in Crawfordsville and in Bunker Hill. Temperatures stay in the teens over the next several hours. If you're headed out to dinner or a high school basketball game this evening, just make sure you're bundled up, and you may run into a few flurries tonight and early tomorrow. Otherwise, the next best chance of accumulating snow will get here the middle part of next week. Teens and 20s for highs as we look ahead to the weekend. A few flurries tonight and early tomorrow, and then we'll wrap up the weekend with another snow chance. Cold and snowy. Yes, it's the end of January. We'll look ahead to the start of February in the 7-day.
All right, Angela, tomorrow marks a week since that massive winter storm started to settle over central Indiana. Feels like it's been way more than that.
It's been a long week. So we sent our Jenna Webster out to check the conditions of the streets across Indy. Jenna, we know a lot of tertiary roads were still being cleared.
Yeah, if we think it's been a long week, it's been a really long week for these people that have been out with the city crews, those contractors that have been plowing the roads. I want to give you a look at what it looks like outside. We are on Broadway Street in between 60th and 61st Street, kind of in the Broad Ripple area. And I feel like driving around today, you see different side streets have different conditions. Some look better than others. This one definitely is a little bit better than where we were earlier. You can see some of the pavement still not, completely clear, but it's also a little bit of a wider street, so it's easier for multiple cars to come down and go next to each other. Now, most of the streets that we've seen, I wouldn't call any of them impassable. You might disagree with me, and the city might also disagree with you on that, but you can still file your complaints, DPW says, through Monday morning if you feel your street has been missed. So I actually want to give you, this is a before and after look of this area, because I was here on Monday on Broadway Street near Dan Wakefield Park. Residents I talked to were convinced they would never see a plow, and they hadn't Monday when we were here. And of course, this is what it looks like today, where you can actually see parts of the pavement on these streets. One woman tells me they actually came Monday night and plowed. So if DPW were here to inspect, they would call this passable. And that's because they're looking for a street with a thick pile of snow in the middle with tire tracks on either sides. That's when they would send a plow back out in those situations.
We went out to dinner. All the main roads were really clear, and when we came back, we were shocked to find that our street had been plowed. So kudos to the city. I think they did plow a lot of the side streets, which was good. It was a little erratic. Some were plowed and some weren't, but given the amount of snow, I thought they did a good job getting it plowed fairly quickly.
So that was Barbara Shoup, who you just heard from. She's lived there since 1969. She says her street is rarely plowed. So you can hear she was pretty happy with the conditions. DPW says today they are wrapping up those inspections. They say they did find some areas for contractors to replow, but they did not tell us just exactly how many. I'm told it's kind of a mixed bag of where replowing is happening. Sometimes it's 3 streets in a specific neighborhood. Sometimes it's just one. There's not really one particular area that was missed over others. Contractors were released today at noon, done with their plowing, but just because they are done with their plowing, it doesn't mean the city is done with their snow fight. DPW says it's an ongoing effort, so they want to know by Monday morning. You have until Monday morning to let them know if you feel your street has been missed. You can report that through the mayor's action line, through Request Indy. They just ask that you please include a picture with that. So if you live here, if you feel this street is not passable, they just want you to take a picture and let them know.
All right, Jenna Webster reporting for us this afternoon. Thank you so much. You guys stay safe on the road, stay warm too.
Good to see improvement,
Yeah.
moving in the right direction. And road conditions are also continuing to improve really across the entire state right now.
Yeah, take a look at your screens. This is showing central Indiana, and it is now yellow in our area, which is a travel advisory with the exception of Hendricks and Hamilton counties. You will see them in gray on this map, which means there are no more advisories of any kind for that area. We'll continue to keep an eye on that and keep you posted. And we know it is not just the snow. The brutal cold is also hitting people hard.
Indianapolis EMS has seen a surge in cold weather emergencies. Our Ashton Hackman looked into that today. He breaks down the numbers, and it's a pretty big spike.
That's right. Over the past week, with bitter cold and dangerous wind chills, paramedics in Indianapolis have seen 6 times the normal number of cold weather emergencies.
The snow may be done falling, but the calls to Indianapolis EMS are rising.
It's been a challenging week for the entire city, and IMS is been answering the call many times.
On a normal winter day, paramedics handled 2 or fewer cold emergencies. This week, that number climbed to nearly 10 a day. Sunday, the peak of the storm, it spiked to 21. 3 people died from the winter weather.
Since it is so cold, individuals who are exposed to it are experiencing the symptoms faster. Cold is a stressor, and I think people need to realize that. So not only are you getting stressed by this extreme cold, but obviously the activities that are necessary when we have such a huge amount of snow.
Ahead at 6, here are the warning signs you need to know when it comes to hypothermia and frostbite. In Indianapolis, Ashton Hackman, 13 News.
Ashton, thank you. And don't forget, you can keep up with the weekend forecast with our live Doppler 13 weather app. Just check out the weather blog once you download it. In the courtroom today, a judge ordered a 16-year-old held without bond at the Marion County Adult Detention Center accused of shooting and killing his barber.
Rich Nye had his camera in the courtroom for Dominique Sherman's initial hearing and spoke afterwards to the victim's mother.
Dominique Sherman wore a green jail uniform into court Friday morning, signifying he is a juvenile. But Sherman will be tried as an adult.
What's your date of birth, please?
7/17/09.
And how old are you, sir?
16.
All right, sir, the state has charged you with count 1, murder, a felony.
Judge Cynthia Ochin read the charges against Sherman. He's accused of shooting and killing 35-year-old Stephen Coach. Sherman lived at the City View Apartments. Coach was a barber and traveled to his clients. He had cut Sherman's hair in the lounge on the top floor of the building. But court records say that on November 8th last year, Coach came here to trade a watch for a gun from Sherman. Just a block away at 39th in Pennsylvania, Sherman allegedly shot Coach, then ran back to City View and stole his car.
The mother of Coach's 4 children, Coach's own mother, his sister, and a friend were all at the hearing on Friday. Coach's mother wants to protect her identity, but she did want to talk about her son.
All Stephen wanted to do is provide for his family, very giving. He would even cut hair for free just to build his clientele. He wasn't a bad person at all.
Sherman asked for and received a public defender. His trial is scheduled March 23rd.
You never picture burying your child. This is very devastating for our family. And to happen from a minor, I have no words.
Coach's longtime partner held their 1-month-old baby outside the courtroom. A daughter, Coach, never got to meet. In Indianapolis, Rich Knight, 13 News.
Court records say that investigators have collected surveillance video from several sources of Sherman and Coach together in the area that night, including the moments right after the shooting.
Tonight, some streets are back open in Columbus after a water main break forced police to close them early this morning. If you look at these pictures, these are ones that police posted online. This is not what you want to see any time of the year, but especially during these bitter cold temps that we're experiencing right now. They had to close the roads near 7th and Washington Streets where the break happened, but now Washington is back open.
IndyCar news now. You'll soon see open-wheel racing through the streets of Washington, D.C.
President Trump signed an executive order today for the Freedom 250 Grand Prix, and it's all to celebrate America's 250th birthday.
We're celebrating greatness with American motor racing. That's going to be the name of the event. It's going to take place on August 21st through the 23rd. And it's going to be so exciting, and I love the race. I don't have a lot of time to watch it, but I love the racing.
The order calls for a race route near the National Mall.
The race may need congressional approval, though, because advertising, which is a key component of IndyCar races, is banned on Capitol grounds.
All right, interesting. And tonight we're learning Tim Cindric is back with Team Penske.
Cindric was the team president who lost his job along with two other top members this past May after an Indy 500 cheating scandal. Cindric was the biggest name in the scandal. He'd been with the organization since 2000 as president of Penske Racing, and until February of last year, he essentially ran the day-to-day operations of all of Penske's racing properties.
He is now returning as Scott McLaughlin's strategist.
IndyCar Media Day took place earlier this week ahead of the Indy 500, and Dom got a chance to catch up with the drivers hoping to make this year's race. You can watch their interviews right now. We've got it on WTHR+.
And a programming note, we want to let you know that you can catch tomorrow's Pacers game right here on Channel 13.
Yeah, the team's taking on the Atlanta Hawks at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Tip-off set for 7 o'clock. It's one of several games we are airing right here this season.
So just check out WTHR.com/Pacers. You can get the complete schedule there.
Angela?
Hey, Angela.
Hey, Jinx, you owe each other a Coke.
I know. You buy us a Coke, Angela.
You got it. Justin and Felicia tracking a few flurries tonight and several snow chances in the 7-day.
Protests in the streets of Minneapolis.
The outrage they're expressing towards ICE operations, plus releasing millions of documents from the Epstein files.
What the information now made public is revealing about Epstein's past. Next.